Hello friends and felines, and welcome back to my channel, or if you've been on my channel for the first time today, hi, hello, and welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button before you leave today. But for today's video, I have another advent calendar to unbox, and honestly, I think this is probably the most unique and different version of an advent calendar I've ever seen. So in case you guys haven't seen this on social media yet, this is Manny MUA's and Lunar Beauty's advent calendar. So this is a little bit different. This is just an eyeshadow palette and different eyeshadow shades on the inside. So instead of a bunch of like random makeup, we have an eyeshadow palette magnetic case and then all the shadows that you could put inside it. So I thought this was such a unique version to do it. This is very limited edition. Once it's sold out, it's sold out. So I thought it was a perfect thing to get my hands on and unbox for you guys. So if you guys are curious on what kind of eyeshadow shades are in here, then definitely keep on watching. So we might be talking about advent calendars in the season of advent calendars, which is described by this beautiful packaging of a nice winter scene, but it's currently 75 degrees in Western New York, which is unseasonably warm for the time of November, which is when I'm filming this. Normally we have snow by now, but today it was 75 degrees and I'm sweating right now. Alright, so anyways, back to this package. I love this scene. I love like the northern lights, just the wintry. It's not like Christmas, like in your face Christmas. It's more like the winter vibes. So I thought it was so cute. And I always like to get a couple of advent calendars a year, but like it never seems to switch up from year to year. It's always like the same stuff. So I did my FabFitFun box, and then I thought this was something unique and different to do other than just like all the normal advent calendars out there. So like I said before, this is the 12 Days of Lunar, so there are 12 different shades plus a magnetic eyeshadow palette in here. This retailed for I think $50. And when I watched Manny MUA's video, I didn't watch it all the way through because I didn't really want spoilers on what colors were in here. But this was also taped to the packaging and it says, "Hi loves, please replace Day 9 shadow with this one instead. XOXO LB Team Heart." So apparently we have to get to day 9 and see what that's about. I think I heard something about it wasn't like formulated the way he wanted it to be, so they sent a new one with that. Okay, again, here is the inside, and there's a little quote over here. It says, "Ever since I was a kid, there was a magic in advent calendars. I loved anxiously opening one a day, awaiting the big 25th. It's like a mini gift every day, and that's exactly what I wanted to do with our advent calendar. I hope you have the most amazing holiday. Love, Manny MUA." Yeah, maybe I did that once upon a time when I was a kid because my parents wouldn't let me go one more day in advance. You only did one day. But who has that kind of willpower today? We are opening all of them today. I'm sorry. Alright, so the first thing we need to open is the palette down here. And let's see how easy this is to open because I heard some people had issues trying to open it. So I pressed it in and now I have to try to... Ugh. Yeah, it's really not easy, because it doesn't fold back out and I don't want to like completely rip it. I kind of want to save the box, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. I'm already sweating. I don't need to be sweating more trying to fight to get this palette out of this box. Oh, yep, and that's ripping. Yeah, so it's really not easy to try to open this without ripping the entire thing. I don't think the perforation is like good enough for it to like go along the perforated lines. And the actual package itself is just like ripping. That's the best I could do on trying to opening this. It did not go well. But anyways, here is what the magnetic palette looks like. I love this. I don't have too many eyeshadow palettes from Lunar Beauty, but this is kind of like the same theme and style as all of his planets. Oh, I love this. And then of course, we have the empty wells and a mirror, so you can put your eyeshadows in here in any order that you want. So I love this packaging, and it's sleek, it's not too bulky. I like it. Alright, we're just going to start with each day, and we're going to work our way down, and I'm going to swatch all of them. Alright, that's what day 1 looks like. Ooh, it is so soft and buttery. Wow. And that's day 1 swatch, a nice shimmery gold. Now the little day tabs are a lot easier to open up. They're not as hard as the palette was. So that's good at least. Okay, day 2 looks to be a beautiful purple shade. And there's day 2 swatched. Day 3 is another shimmer shade. So this one, that's That's day 3 swatch. It's more of like a champagne compared to like the more like gold color. So a little bit of a difference there. They are similar, so with only 12 shades, I don't know, it's like a little bit just lighter than the gold, but they're still like kind of similar. The one thing that I also am thinking about this advent calendar, I feel like there's a lot of packaging because everything is individually packaged in plastic and then in the little boxes and then in the big box. So that's my only like minor critique about the palette and like the whole advent calendar itself. It's just like all of the kind of extra packaging. Hopefully everything was made with recyclable materials, but I'm not sure. Day 4 is this beautiful brown rust kind of shade. And that's day 4 swatch. It's honestly very similar to like what I have on my eye right here. It's this little tiny wing. And that shade that I use right here is called Hot Cocoa from Beauty Bakery Pudding Palette. I think that's what it was called. Yeah, it's similar to this one. It's the proof is in the Pudding eyeshadow palette from Beauty Bakery. And it was this Hot Cocoa shade down there. So they are very similar. Day 5 is another shimmer. Seems to be going matte shimmer, and this one looks to be more of like an icy shimmer. There's day 5 swatch, and again, it's just like a nice, shiny winter shimmer. It's a perfect for like an inner corner highlight, brow bone highlight. That's like a perfect like winter highlight color. Day 6 is like this mustard yellow shade, which honestly surprised me when I unboxed it. It doesn't seem to go in with the rest of like the look quite yet. So that's like kind of an interesting color. I don't really picture this as like a winter shade, and it's a little patchy like swatching it because it is like a yellow, but after a few layers it does build up pigment, so that's day 6 swatch right there. Day 7 is another shimmer, and it looks to be kind of like a greenish bronzy kind of shade, kind of like a weird shimmer, but like weird in a good way. So there's definitely like some like yellow and purple reflex in the shade. So there's day 7. I don't know if you're gonna be able to pick up on the shimmer, but it's a really interesting shimmer shade. It's definitely different and unique, which I appreciate. Day 8, we have a matte green. Kind of looks like a puke green, honestly, but we'll see how it looks when it's swatched. Yeah, I'm still going with like kind of a puke green on day 8 right there, but you could still use it. This eyeshadow palette color scheme is honestly not what I was expecting. It's kind of all over the place. Just looking at like the packaging, I was expecting like some beautiful shimmers, some pink, some purple, some blue, some like deep purple blue mix. So I don't know. All right, next we're going into 9. I'm gonna take the one from the advent calendar itself and swatch it, and then I'm gonna compare it to the additional number 9 day that they wanted us to replace it with, and just like see the difference in the shade and the formulation of it. This is what number 9 looks like from the advent calendar, and then this is what the replacement one looks like. So you could definitely tell like this seems it's more chunky and wasn't pressed, maybe the way Manny wanted it to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch them side by side and see like how they feel, if they feel any different, and if they look any different. So the one in the advent calendar feels soft. It maybe feels like a little bit chunkier, like there might be some more fallout. The shade is still beautiful. It's a green shimmer, but it looks like there's also like blue teal reflect in it. Swatching the replacement one, it feels just as soft, maybe not as chunky. And it seems like there's a little bit more of a bronze to the shimmer. That's the one from the advent calendar, and that's the replacement. Honestly, I like this one better because it seems like there's more like cool blue reflect in it than there are in this one. But I'm gonna hold on to both and like use both, like it's a free shade. So I don't know, you get a bonus shade, I guess. All right, 10, we have another matte brown. This one's a little bit lighter and less warm tone than the other brown. I like swatched it weirdly on the side of my hand, but that's day 11 swatch right there. You can tell the difference between the other one and the shades. Did I say day 11? I meant day 10, I think. Guess I can't count straight from 1 to 12 without skipping numbers. Ooh, this is a pretty shade. We're on day 11, and this is what I was picturing of with like the scheme. It's like this beautiful, I don't even know how to describe it, shimmer, like maroon, burgundy, purple, pink, reddish shade. I'm excited to swatch this one. Ooh, that is so pretty. This might be my favorite shade in the palette so far. Wow. That is day 11 swatch right there. That is so pretty. That is what that looks like. Ooh, this is a little bit drier. It's probably like the least soft matte out of all of them. And I mean, it swatches black, but I don't think it's going to be like a true black. All right, those are all 12 shades plus the bonus shade all swatched. I'm going to figure out how to rearrange them in the palette, and then I will probably do a part 2 to this video and create a nice makeup look out of it. I already have eyeshadow on, so it might be like a tomorrow thing or like a different day kind of video. So I might be wearing different clothes and I might look different, but I think I'm going to make like a little eyeshadow look out of all of this. All right, this is how I set it up. So I have my matte on the bottom and then shimmers that kind of go corresponding to it. So we have like the rust shade with like the weird bronzy shimmer. We have the lighter brown with kind of like the more champagne shimmer. We have like the mustard with the gold shimmer, the green with the green shimmer, the purple with like kind of like the pinky purple shimmer, the black, and then like the icy shimmer. So that's what my palette setup looks like. And then I have the extra day 9 setup, and I will just leave it in the plastic packaging, and I will just leave it with like all my other singles. All right, hello, it is day 2, and now we are gonna get into the playing around with the eyeshadow palette. I went ahead and redid my whole face of makeup today, mainly using most of the CATRICE True Skin products today. And now we get to play around with this beautiful palette. I've been sitting here staring, trying to figure out what I want to do with this palette because the color scheme, to be honest, is all over the place. But I'm kind of digging like the mustard puke green colors today for some reason. It's kind of giving me like Raw Beauty Christie's collab with ColourPop. So I think I'm gonna like try to like create a similar look to what I did with that one. If you guys haven't seen that video, definitely go check it out. So to begin with, I think I'm just going to start with this brown just to put it in the crease really quickly, and then we'll get into some of the colors. First things first, we get to peel this off. So satisfying. Alright, so going into that brown shade, and like we'll see how the formula is. Figured I'd scoot you guys in just a little bit so you can see what's going on. So we have some brown going on right there. I don't want to do too much because we're going to go in with some of the colors. I just kind of want this as a transition shade, so I don't want it too dark. So we're going to be going for a halo eye today, which is usually hit or miss for me. So I'm not going to like wing my colors out too far. I'm going to kind of keep it like this kind of sweeping back and forth motion. So then we're going to go in, I'm just going to use the same brush, and we're going to go in with that mustardy color. We're going to start that in the crease. Now this one we're definitely going to have to build up the pigment a little bit because it is a yellow. Yellows can be a little tricky sometimes. And I'm going to focus some of that in the crease and then on the inner and outer corner of the eye, but leaving kind of the middle part of the lid open. First impressions of this mustard shade is that it's okay. Like some of that might be picking up on the camera. I've definitely had better shades of this. I think the ColourPop one with Raw Beauty Christie's may be a little bit better, but this one's okay. So you can't get it there, you just have to work a little bit and just keep building up the pigment to get the kind of like color payoff that you are looking for. I feel like I'm just going to keep using the same brush because it's working fine. It's the Morphe M456 brush. It's kind of like a flatter brush, but you can still like buff and blend it out. And now we're going to dip into that puke green color and then blend it in with the mustard shade on either side. But again, we're going to kind of leave the middle portion open. And I feel like halo eyes are always like a trust the process kind of makeup look, because they always look weird until you get that center halo going on with the shimmer. I feel like this is totally turning into like the Raw Beauty Christie look. I need to get some more batteries for my camera because my one battery like doesn't charge anymore, and my other one that does charge is dead. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this makeup look in the time that I have with the camera. So I'm gonna try to do that really quickly. We're gonna go into like the green shimmer shade right here, and that's gonna go on the center of the lid. And I'm just gonna use my finger. Ooh, that is so pretty. I don't even know if you can like constitute this as like a halo eye, or not, because it's really not like a shimmery bright shimmer, I guess, on the center of the lid. But I don't know. This is what the look we're going for today. But this green shimmer is so pretty. And I think for like right up here in the middle of the crease, I'm going to go in with the gold shimmer. I don't know if it's going to pick up on a brush or not. But okay, yeah it is. We're just going to add a little bit of that up here at the top of the crease. I'm going to put a little bit of that gold shimmer as the inner corner highlight. I feel like these shadows work a little bit better with your finger than they do with the brush if you want like the true pigment payout, because they are very softly pressed into the palette. Kind of went a little crazy with this inner corner highlight, but it's fine, it's fine. All right, now we're gonna do some of that pubic green along the lower lash line. I just happened to look in my camera bag and I found a third camera battery, so we are rocking and rolling. Nice. I would have been really upset if I couldn't finish filming this makeup look today. So anyways, we have the green on the lower lash line, and then we're gonna buff it out with a little bit of the mustard shade. Not too crazy, because I always get carried away with my lower lash line and I don't want it to go like super far down my face, as I typically do. I'm loving this grungy forest look. Again, it's giving Raw Beauty Kristi vibes up in here. Speaking of Raw Beauty Kristi and ColourPop, I'm gonna grab one of their liners. This is in the shade Marigold, and I'm gonna put this into the waterline. All right, so that's what the eyeshadow looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and do some mascara. I'm not gonna bother putting falsies on today, because I'm just not about that life. It's a Sunday morning. I'm not putting falsies on. But I'll do some mascara and I will find a lip, and then we can wrap up my review of the 12 days of Lunar. Okay, so in my tight line, I went in with the green liner from the Raw Beauty Kristi and ColourPop collection. On the lips, I thought it'd be fun to kind of go for this like berry shade. I think it also gives like forest vibes, like, I don't know, like you'd find some fun berries in the forest. I don't know. And it kind of contrasts with like the marigold green going on with like kind of like the purple vibe. And that was the MAC Bated Breath Love Me lipstick. I don't even think I've used this yet. And then I'm going to top it with one of the two lip glosses I have from Lunar Beauty. This one is in Mystery. I think I got this from his like last mystery box. And oh, that's so pretty. It adds such a unique vibe to it because like the gloss looks like it has yellow green reflex in it, but I think it also has like pinkish purple ones. So it kind of just ties like everything together. So that's super pretty. All right, and then of course, seal everything into place. All right, and that is the finished eye look using the 12 Days of Lunar Beauty eyeshadow palette slash advent calendar. Again, let's go over my thoughts on this whole advent calendar and the eyeshadow palette itself. First positive thought is that I think it's a very unique way to do an advent calendar. You can figure out a shade a day or open it all up in one day because we are all impatient adults and we want satisfaction immediately. So I do love that aspect. I love the packaging of the actual advent calendar itself. Like you could use this as decor in your backdrop if you wanted, or in your makeup collection if you are an advent makeup collector. And then the actual palette itself, again, is so beautiful and it has the aesthetic of his whole brand. My only like confusion was like shocked at a little bit was that like the aesthetic of the packaging doesn't reflect the color story. Honestly, this color story doesn't give me winter vibes. Maybe like fall-ish. I understand like having like a black and some browns in there because they're just like universal shades that you could include in every palette. But then you have like the mustard green and the gold and the yellow and the puke green or whatever. It's just not winter vibes. I'm not saying I don't like the color story, but it's not what I thought it was going to be. But again, it was a mystery. You have no idea what it's going to be. It's a limited edition. Now it's in my collection. And you can do like a few different looks out of this. You could do like a, foresty kind of look like I did with this one. You can do it like the pinkish purple color shade with like the really icy highlighter, the blacks in there. So you can play around, make it a neutral look, make it a more colorful look, somewhere in the middle. So there is that. But it is just a very unique color story. The shimmers are great. They're super buttery and soft. They're softly pressed. You're going to get great color payout. The yellow shade is a little, like, you have to work your way up to get it, but again, it is a yellow shade, so it is kind of difficult. The puke green worked really well. The brown worked really well, and again, the shimmers were beautiful. So overall, not a bad palette, just not what I was expecting, I guess. But that is the entire review and makeup look of the 12 Days of Lunar Beauty. If you guys enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. While you're at it, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you are notified every time I post a new video. I love you guys, and subscribe to my channel. I welcome you to the Feline family. Bye!